and Thursday, but I wanted to make this video to address Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer so that he can hear this directly from me. And I wanted to make sure, in the spirit of transparency, that everyone in the community knows my position as well, so no one can misconstrue it. Today, I was contacted again to have a meeting with Mayor Buddy Dyer. Mayor Buddy Dyer insists on having this meeting with myself alone. His latest negotiation is to meet with me by myself, not for 15 minutes as he previously did the first time, but to meet with me for 30 minutes this time. Sounds good, right? However, the terms of the meeting is that no one else can be there, just me alone. No other activists, just me and him alone. Here's why I have a problem with that. When Mayor Buddy Dyer did the prayer walk with the pastors, and he decided that he went up on stage and he was hugging all the pastors, and they prayed and they took a knee in solidarity. He decided, he got off stage, and I walked over to him and I said, "Mr. Mayor," he said, "Hello." I said, "I would like to meet with you. All of the symbolism is okay, but when we're done with all the symbolism, all the marches, I would like to meet with you, but not meet with you by myself. I want to meet with you. I want to meet with your senior staff. I want to put pen to paper and talk policies, and I want to be allowed to bring and have equal representation from the grassroots organizers who are out here doing the work, who are out here, who have been tear gassed, and who are out here doing the work." Buddy Dyer looked at me in my face. He told me, "You know what?" He said, "Yes, we are going to do that. Let's meet." Tapped me on my shoulder. And I said, "Okay, I'll be waiting for your staff to get in touch." He said, "They'll be in touch with you." What's going on now with these negotiations with me make me extremely uncomfortable. For Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer to use his office to try to intimidate and to divide a grassroots movement. What do I mean by that, TJ? When you want to meet, or any other groups want to meet, interest groups want to meet, they're not asked, and this has nothing to do with COVID, so I don't want anybody to think it has anything to do with COVID-19. They're not asked to separate their voices. When the Muslim community, Latinos, when it's the LGBTQ plus, any of these groups, whether it's the lawyers associations, they can have an audience. The police unions, they can have an audience and sit down with the mayor and talk about their concerns and talk about policies. Why is it that the African-American community needs a buffer class? Why is it that I have to have people call me, back channeling me to tell me, "Oh, well, TJ, he likes you. He'll meet with you, but he won't meet with other people," specifically Lawana Gelzer. So today I was called by Reginald McGill, who gave me an offer for the mayor wants to meet with me at 3 o'clock tomorrow. However, the terms were, oh, he doesn't want to meet with people that he's met with before because he wants to meet with people in 15 to 20-minute intervals, but he's willing to give me 30 because I guess that's a stroke of my ego to make me feel special. So, but I said, okay, well, here's this. How about I can come and I can bring Miles Moran and I can bring Lawana. What they tell me was, well, we've already met with Miles Moran through PKZ whenever they had their meeting. I don't know if that's true or not. If Miles watches this, I'm just letting him know this is what they said. They said you've already met with him. So there's no need for him to meet again with him right now. So I said, well, I know you haven't contacted Lawana Gelzer, so why don't you, myself and Lawana Gelzer, will go in there, we'll meet, we'll talk 30 minutes, we'll talk policy, we'll talk police reform. I was told that because Lawana Gelzer has had an opportunity to give public comments during meetings, that now excludes her voice from the table at this time. He doesn't want to meet with someone who he's met with or had an opportunity to speak with. Why would Lawana Gelzer be held to a different standard than me? I've been to public meetings. I've been to police citizen review board meetings. I've been to city council meetings and been given public comments. It's well documented. I've written stories. It's well documented. But I am uncomfortable that Mayor Buddy Dyer thinks that his staff or anybody who's associated or affiliated with him would think that I would be okay telling a Black woman who's been doing this work longer than I have been doing it for this particular issue to sit down and be quiet and behave while I go and talk and the men talk in the room by themselves. What are we talking about? You're asking me to compromise my principles and my standards in order for me to meet with you on your terms, because you and the tyrannical regime that you obviously this is precedent. The tyrannical regime that you're a part of, the culture that you're a part of, is that everybody who meets with you is supposed to kiss the ring. Well, TJ, I'm told, TJ, that's not fair, because Mayor Buddy Dyer, he has a lot of Black women on his staff. It's not just about a Black woman. It's about a Black woman who has a descending position or opinion than you. If she has a difference of opinion than you don't want to meet her, because she shows up to meet with her, because she shows up to meeting and she fact checks you, or she does research, or she calls you out. What we call that, if she was white, you would call her someone who's civically engaged. That's what you would call that. So there's no reason for me, now you would tell me to tell her, well, she can't come. Why is her voice less of importance than mine? She is affected just as much as I am. It's a divide and conquer tactic, similar to how your staff and people in the neighborhood, mainly Rebecca Ferguson, she's been going around to the city of Orlando, to other activists and telling them that TJ's decline meeting. You even have commissioners saying TJ's decline meeting. I have never, ever, let me be clear, I have never, ever declined a meeting with the mayor. What I won't do is meet with the mayor alone, and I won't meet with the mayor without other activists. And I will definitely not meet with him by silencing a Black woman's voice who's been a social justice warrior in this community. It's inappropriate, it's wrong, and I will not do that. All I'm asking Mayor Buddy Dyer to do is to keep his word. Last time they got on the phone, they said they wanted to meet for an hour to 45 minutes, and I can bring 6 to 7 other people. That turned into, well, now we can just give you 30 minutes instead of the 15, TJ, and we'll allow you to have a meeting with Mayor Buddy Dyer alone. This is not about me. And maybe Mayor Buddy Dyer is a little bit confused because he doesn't know much about me personally. Anytime anyone has ever seen me do an interview, it's mainly with people around me, because it's not about me. Anytime I give a speech, I'm surrounded by people in the community, because it's not about me. And it's also not about just Lawana Gelzer. If the Mayor Dyer can prevent Lawana Gelzer from being in the room to talk about policy reform, to talk about substantial change, then he can do that to me. They're already trying to criminalize me in the media. We already have the Jasmine Bernies trying to criminalize activists and call cops on activists. That's what they're due. That's what the buffer class does. We already have a slew of Black folks in Orlando community that's sole purpose is to undermine all of the efforts of progress. But that doesn't happen in other communities. If anyone in the Muslim community wanted to have a conversation with me, they'd pick up the phone. LGBTQ, they pick up the phone. Everybody picks up the phone. Everybody gets what they want. I'm not asking for special treatment. I'm asking for the same treatment you give the police unions, the same treatment that you give the other institutions. The other interest groups. because they deserve to have their meetings, because they too deserve to be heard, just like how we deserve to be heard. You can't sit and kneel, you can't kneel and hug pastors and then say that you're going to do something after you just prayed to God and then go back on your word. Let's talk integrity now. So I wanted you all to hear it from me. I wanted you all to hear from me that it's not about TJ. It's not about LaWanna. It's bigger than that. And for any Black person who is sitting there telling me or telling anybody in our community that you have to act a certain way, talk a certain way, deliver the messages in a certain way, be a little bit sweeter, be a little bit more prim and proper, be this way. Let me ask you this. What progress have you made for this community as a whole? By shucking and jiving and being prim and proper and being a debutante or all these other different things. What progress have been made? Because let me just be real with everybody. 3 months ago, you couldn't find any of these activists out here. Everybody was focused on other things, and LaWanna Gelzer, let's talk truth to power. LaWanna Gelzer was actually here in the paint with myself and David Porter. People were focused on other things, and that's fine. That's fine. But we're not going to sit here and anytime a Black person doesn't act a certain way, that means they don't deserve a right to be heard, especially by an elected official. So the misconception is that we as as activists, we're just out here, we have no agenda. Oh, we're just out here just running amok. No. I've met with a congresswoman. We've met with people from Orange County government. People have met with people from the school board. People have met with people on the state level. People have actually met. So there's progress as far as people being meetings, but for some reason, Mayor Dyer is the one that has all these different requests and all these different demands of saying, well, I'm only going to meet with these groups for 15 minutes. I'm going to talk to these group of activists here. I'm going to talk to these group of activists over here. I'm going to meet with TJ alone. I won't meet with LaWanna. What are you so afraid of? What are you so afraid of? And for any of these people who are saying, well, TJ, you should just meet with him and play ball. What progress has playing ball in Orlando, what progress has that made for our community? All of these pastors, all of these elected officials, all of these people from these organizations that have all these fancy titles, how many conversations, how many meetings have you had with Mayor Dyer to talk about racism, to sit there to talk to Mayor Dyer about police brutality, police reform? And what was the result of all of your get along, good old boy, good old gal approach? If you did what you were supposed to do, that you said you're going to do, that you tell everybody that you are doing, then we wouldn't be in this predicament right now. So allow the alternative to have an audience and speak truth to power. LaWanna has a degree from Rollins in economics. She grew up in this community, pillar of social justice. I've been doing this for a while too. Social justice throughout the state of Florida. I'm not going to exclude certain people because I'm not here to make white folks feel comfortable. Not when we're talking about our community and our people. I'm not here to make you feel comfortable about racism. I'm here to try to fix it. But if you're telling me that the only way I can fix it is if I play ball with you and make you feel comfortable and say things in a certain type of way, I'm willing to go the long way to achieve justice. It's disrespectful, it's rooted in bigotry, and it's inappropriate. Don't call me asking me to exclude a Black woman from the table again. because she's not the right type of Black woman for you and your liking and for your ears. Luana has committed no crimes, and it's not, like I said, it's not about Luana. The way the system and the white power structure works, they deal with Black folks in proxies. What they can do to TJ, if Fox News Orlando can criminalize TJ on the news with false reports, they can do it to Miles, they can do it to Marquise, they can do it to any other activist or organizer. If they can sit there and tell Luana she can't be included, then guess what? That's a slippery slope. They can do it to everybody else. I am not a part of that system. I'm trying to dismantle that system. So this is why I am not on your calendar, Mayor Dyer, for 3 o'clock. I was told that they would go back to the drawing board, go back to the scheduler, and try to find time. I would hope that Mayor Dyer finds time and makes sure that public safety, police reform, and accountability are at the top of his list. I am a product, not of the environment outside. I am a product of Mayor Dyer's lack of accountability for his officers. I went to the Police Citizen Review Board meetings. I filed the complaint, went to the Police Citizen Review Board meetings. I went to city council meetings. I did the research. I spoke out. I did all the things that you're supposed to do and be civically engaged, and I vote. So for everybody who's thinking that, oh, it's just an activist, no. Everything that Buddy Dyer tells citizens to do in order for them to achieve justice and hold law enforcement officers accountable, I have done, and he knows it. There's record about it. But his system is insufficient. What you are introducing or telling the community that you're going to do for them is insufficient. Let me just say this. You know what disgusts me so much? Is that when we have someone who is had a fierce voice in Aramis, the state attorney Aramis Ayala, a fierce voice for change and reform. I watched at the mural press conference, our state attorney, the first ever Black woman to be a state attorney, stand there with her mask on as a political prop and not speak at the press conference. How does that happen? How does the first ever Black state attorney not speak at a press conference and use her voice? When her whole time she's been talking about she wants to champion justice and stand on the side of truth and justice, but you had her stand there with her arms in front of her, with her mask over her mouth, and not speak. What message are we sending to the Black women and the little Black girls that watch that? What message are we sending to them? Because she's not the right type of Black woman? Am I not the right type of Black man? Let's talk truth. And see, everybody can play these games and let's try to discredit TJ. You've been playing them for a while. You haven't prevented anything. Right? You haven't prevented anything. So you could try to discredit me. You can have elected officials blatantly lie, right? You can do all of these tactics. At the end of the day, I'm still the same guy who is going to stand up and tell you, I'm right, I'm with you when you're right, and I'll correct you and hold you accountable when you're wrong. And it starts with me in the mirror. I don't hold anybody in this community to a standard that I don't hold for myself. I've worked with most of the people who have actually tried to discredit me in the first place. So if Mayor Buddy Dyer has anyone from that Black buffer class that he is appointed to kind of pacify progress or pacify the Negroes, please tell him I am different. You can't buy me. And a trip to the mayor's office doesn't woo me or make me feel special or make me feel powerful. You know what makes me feel powerful? Making sure that I have a platform to speak on the things that are affecting our community and hold other people accountable. That's what gives it to me, where there's justice and freedom and economic independence in our community. That's what it does. You don't have to be in this system of institutionalized racism and obedient Negro in order for you to have justice or progress in your community. And if that's the message, I'm on the other side. So if anybody wants to know, okay, TJ, what is you about? TJ is about justice, economic freedom, and he is about dismantling the system of white supremacy. He does not want police officers to be harming people in this community, and he wants Black children to be able to walk down all streets without being able to be harassed. He doesn't want UCF students to be tear gassed. That's what I'm about. Straight up. No chaser. Mayor Buddy Dyer, and I'm going to close with this. If Mayor Buddy Dyer wants to meet with me, he's going to treat me and he's going to treat the activists that I invite with me with the same respect he does with the police unions. This is bigger than Lawana and TJ, and it's not about egos. It's about respect and how we are viewed. You are no longer, people are in the media are no longer going to dehumanize us in the eyes of the media. You're no longer going to criminalize us. No matter what your degree is or what your title, they all look at us the same. And for those who are sitting up here with Buddy Dyer, allowing him to undermine progress, he looks at you the same. You're going to treat us with respect. That's how I sit at the table. That's how we're going to sit at the table, with respect. And we're going to actually bring your senior staff. Let's put pen to paper and let's actually talk about policy change and reform. It's that simple. I'm not asking you to do anything else, anything special, but keep your word. That's it. That's it. But asking me to exclude a Black woman or exclude Black folks because you don't like how they behave, or you have a vendetta against them, or you don't like them in a certain way, or because other Black folks who you find acceptable have told you, hey, you don't want to meet with them. They all do that. Stop listening to the Jasmine Birdies, who is the Candace Owens of the Black community in Central Florida. Stop doing it. Stop doing it, because it's not getting you anywhere. Things need to change. That's why people marched. They didn't march for paint. They didn't march for symbolism. They didn't march for just, hey, visibility. Hey, you see us, you hear us. It's not about a feel-good moment. It's about real change and real progress. And I know the way I'm talking right now makes a lot of folks uncomfortable, specifically a lot of folks in my community, but this is how free people talk. So, Mayor Buddy Dyer, your staff, your crew, whoever, your senior staff, I'm willing to meet. I've never declined a meeting. I'm not going to go off of these tyrannical regime terms where I'm going to bow down and kiss the ring so you can listen to me and twiddle your thumbs. Please, when we meet, let's come to work. Let's be, if you want to talk about professionalism, bringing calls to me like that, that's unprofessional. Let's sit down. If you want coffee, go get coffee. and let's actually talk about policy, sit in a room, and let's bring out something for the people to say, hey, this is what we're going to do. So I just wanted to thank you all for whoever was watching. I wanted to be able, I'm going to actually send this video to the mayor. Y'all can tweet it. Y'all can tag him in the poster if you want to, because I need them to see this, that I'm different. Not special, just different. I just put in the work and put in the time. But there's no shuck and jive over here with me. Sorry. If I was going to sell out, I would, or buy into things or whatever, that would have happened a long time. It's not happening. So I called Luana and I told her about these things, but she didn't have to tell me not to take the meeting. I was not going to take the meeting under those terms, because they're rooted in bigotry. They're rooted in sexism. And for anybody who's out here who's talking about white male patriarchy and the effects of it, there you go. This should piss off every women's group in Orlando. Should be upset about this. Every last one of them. Let's stop playing games. You know the activists who have the information, who are influential. It's not about excluding those voices either. If you want it, you could have tons of calls, but when it comes down to really talking change, don't meet with people who are just going to regurgitate the things that we're talking about, but they don't have the history or the knowledge or the research to actually hold your feet to the fire. Don't do that. Don't duck and dodge. Meet with the people who have the influence and who have the knowledge. So that's my stance. I didn't want to be on here long. We do have shows Wednesday and Thursday, but I wanted everybody to hear from me. That's where you know, my convictions won't let me do that. It won't let me do that. So let's continue to stand united, because I'm united. You know, never asked to be a leader, but if my skill set allows me to speak up where others can't, I understand that. That's fine, and I understand my platform. So when Mayor Buddy Dyer is ready to meet and talk business and treat Black folks who vote and who are civically engaged like adults, because we haven't done anything illegal. I haven't. I ask people questions when I went to the bureau. We didn't interrupt your press conference. But we do have opinions. And for any other elected official who's watching this video, you should be appalled as well. All of the other communities that are watching this video, who know that their leaders, or the people who they deem leaders, or their organizers, who don't have to go through this much hell just to have an audience with the mayor, you need to use your voice as well. All the lawyers, all those other organizations. We don't need you to speak for us, but you need to speak towards a system that allows this type of behavior to happen. If that's the way it's been, we need to change it. And you don't change a system by being a part of it. Thank you all. Appreciate you. And I'm going to send this to Mayor Buddy Dyer. Like I said, I'm ready for reform when you are.